Hello, everyone. Welcome to TCG Rhetoric. I've got something very special today. We just got done with the Murders at Karlov Manor pre-release at 123 TCG in Shanghai. I'm going to have a description in the video to show you how to get there and how to contact them on WeChat. And the owner is kind enough to let me open up some of his inventory today. So we're going to open up 4 boxes of Murders at Karlov Manor collector's boosters and hopefully get him a serial card that he can sell on Taobao and make lots of money and keep the lights on. So remember, 123 TCG, come check out the store. And yeah, I hope you like this content. I know usually I do vintage stuff, but this should be popular and fun too. So looking for a serialized card. Played the pre-release. We've got a detective, Tessa, opulent oligarch. Nice kind of foily rare there. Ooh, Aurelia, vindicator. Nice mythic. I don't know what you call these, the showcase, the clue, the case files, something like that, but that's very cool. Let's see, how are we gonna do piles here? Those are both mythics? Is this one mythic too? Oh, no, that's rare. Okay, so we'll put the mythics in its own pile. Rare. I guess this is Commander. Rare, foil rare. Axebane Ferox, Death Touch, Haste, Ward, Collect Evidence 4. And then we got commons and the basic lands. I'm not sure where the serialized card is supposed to show up. I think there's like a specific slot, but I don't know which card it is, so I'll still look at all the commons and uncommons and make sure we do that. Okay. Clue, Kellen Inquisitive Prodigy, so 2 Kellen Inquisitive Prodigies, foil 1, borderless, and just a regular borderless. Was talking with someone here at the pre-release about how seems like these, I've talked about before how the printing of different variants and styles is crazy, getting out of hand. There's just too many different styles. It's hard to keep up with all of them. And my friend Benoit, who's nearby, made a good point that I think for anyone who's watching this from China can relate to, or if you've ever been in another country trying to play Magic, a product of all these different styles and all these different variants is it makes it harder to associate the cards by the art anymore. And whenever you're playing in another country, different language, if you know the set well enough, you don't have to be able to read the cards. Like the Ixalan RCQ I went to, there's no way I would have been able to get, well, that's our second Axebane Ferox. This one's borderless. There's no way I would have done well at that tournament had I not had another Axebane Ferox. No way I could have done well at the tournament if I hadn't drafted on Arena like at least 50 times the set, so I knew all the art. But even then, whenever a showcase card shows up, all of a sudden, I have to get an app out, translate, figure out what the card is. A long time ago, way back in like the Odyssey block days, I was at Pro Tour Chicago, and I played against a Japanese guy for the first time. Ooh, that is really beautiful foil, though. The Thundering Falls borderless. I like the Surveil lands. Obviously, they're not as good as... They're not tier 1 with a dual land, but it's hard to not like dual lands. Anyways, at that Pro Tour, Chicago Pro Tour, I don't know the year, probably like 2001, I had a Japanese opponent, and he did not speak any English. I did not speak any Japanese, but it didn't matter. We communicated with points and fingers, and the round went fine. No problems. I don't know how to do that these days with all these different variants. I think it would be a lot harder. Now that was a limited, I think that was Rochester draft. that Pro Tour. Limited is a little easier because you have a limited card pool. But, well, I guess in Constructed, there's only a certain number of meta decks. If you're playing at a high level of the Pro Tour, you should be able to know what the cards are. But I still think it matters, and it makes it a little bit less accessible to new players to have to learn not only, blocks of text on the card. Ooh, Foil Aurelia, Law Above. Bomb, I opened this in the pre-release. She's so good. I guess probably not good enough for Constructed, but that's really beautiful.
You can also lay out the stuff in the order that comes out of the pack so that people can get a better look at
each one of them?
Each slot. So people recognize, this is slot A, B, C, D.
Oh, that's Joe, owner of 123 TCG, giving me some advice.
I've opened a lot of these.
Yeah?
Yeah, about 150 boxes or so.
Well, I'm trying to balance. I don't know how much people will want to, I don't know if they'll watch for 5 hours if I open each pack one at a time.
Yeah. And then this is basically the same slot. There's a showcase slot. So you can stack these two up. And then there's a basic land slot. And then uncommon slot. And you can pile up all the uncommons here.
And then all uncommons and commons go here, right?
Yeah.
But they'll all be foils. Do you know where? So it's okay. So this is the slot for
base.
So token, rare, mythic, or rare.
Here could be a borderless foil or a normal foil, and then this is also where your what's it called? Ink. We call it.
Oh yeah, the secret invisible ink.
Yeah.
Whatever fancy thing they're doing for the set, and this is just your regular rare slot.
It could be a showcase, it could be borderless.
And this has been Commander.
Yeah.
So every collective, it seems like
every pack has a collective.
Okay, and then another rare, foil rare. Where would the serialized card show up? Can it be in any part?
It replaces this.
It'll be
because I've only opened 2 from like nearly 200 boxes, so.
2 from 200 boxes. All right, so we've got to open at least
you
one.
You can leave it like that and then just lay the next one on top.
Oh, okay.
That probably, at the end when you show everyone the results of the box, it works out even, better.
Sure. Problem is, though, I'm happy to do this, especially with the new layout. Problem is, though, the reason I was organizing it the way I was before. I don't know. I think we're going to have to start now. I don't know if you want to go all the way back. Prof's Edict Memory. Parlor. Counterpoint. Lamplight Phoenix. Fugitive Codebreaker. Auspicious Arrival. I do like the... so are both of these going to be the showcase?
Common, non-common. So you always get 5 rares. Like that's the beauty of it. And then
and a bunch of foils. The showcases look nice. Whenever I first heard about them, I was not. I wasn't convinced they were going to look that nice. But I think whenever you see them in person up close, they look a lot nicer. Foil Thopter.
There's that.
Leyline of the Guild Pact. Outrageous Robbery.
That's a good one. That's like...
It's going to be a constructed card?
I think so. There's like a mini combo with it.
Target opponent exiles the top X cards of their library face down. You may look at and play those cards for as long as they remain exiled. If you cast a spell this way, you may spend mana as though it were mana of any type to cast it. The X, is that enough? So in standard?
Hard to say. I think it might be a commander card.
I know nothing about Commander, so I'll just take your word for it.
Everything that says, each opponent do something, that's probably good.
Fair enough. Oh, Foil Shock. I do like the new Shock.
It's kind of strange having Shock in the format where you just always think, hey, are these evergreen cards still part of the format?
I remember a day back when Magic was young, when reprints were exciting, and it was reprints like Shock. Like, oh, Stronghold is going to have Shock. Oh, like bring it back and that sort of thing. I guess you still have that with some cards, but
what was the last exciting one?
Well, I mean, with the amount of reprints, it's hard to get too excited about any of it. Ooh, Massacre Girl. This could be a standard card, right?
That's a good card. Though,
competing with Sheldred, right?
Yeah,
like
everything is competing with Sheldred.
Yeah, Sheldred's still going to be top dog, obviously.
I think she doesn't even rotate out. She doesn't even rotate out in the next rotation. I think, and that's the biggest issue.
Yeah, that was such a weird decision. Like, we're going to revive Standard by making it less fresh, by making it more stale. I mean, I understand the point of people's cards; they want them to stay legal, and it's a common conversation I have with people.
Yeah.
They're like, "Oh, why did you quit?" "Oh, well, all my cards rotated out of Standard." But there's got to be a better way to approach this problem.
Though Standard is better. Like, with more sets, I would say Standard is more fun.
I think that may be true. Standard may be more fun with more sets, but I think a more concerning problem, whenever you're talking about the cost, is that you need a crazy amount of mythics and rares to make any sort of deck. I feel like back when I played, Mask, the Mask days, the Invasion, Odyssey, like the decks there, you had a couple of rares staples, but you're filled with good commons and uncommons moving on to box 2. Good commons and uncommons that you knew were going to be good now, going to stay good throughout the whole rotation.
It does feel cards sort of, if they don't make it into Standard, just do the same thing. Like, you have like all these second tier rated cards on the bench of Standard, like Massacre Girl. It's just sort of like the power level is just one step behind what is being played in Standard, and just like hanging. I guess it's the same 10 years ago, 20 years ago, but now everything has everything has more abilities and everything looks better. On a glance, you're like, hey, this might see some play in Standard. Then you just like suddenly remember Shoulder is there.
Yeah. It's like, oh, this Massacre Girl is so cool. New card. But and that's exactly my point. Like, you don't get exciting new fresh deck ideas, deck building when a card like Sheldred stays in the format for 3 years. And I personally really like the card. Probably I've decided what standard deck I'm going to play in the RCQs, and it has Sheldred in it. But
what did you decide on?
Dimir. I think
the control deck?
No, the mid-range Dimir.
Oh, the maps.
Yeah, map tokens, and I think it's really good. I've been playing it on Arena and cleaning up the ladder when I play.
The deck has some good matchups. It has some.
I don't think it has any bad matchups, to be honest. But I'm playing a deck list that does a little bit of everything. Game 1, so it has some counter spells. It has 3 cut downs for probably the hardest matchup is
Raffine, right? Esper Legends. That card is.
I haven't played a lot of that, to be honest. Oh, we got a serialized card.
Oh, what?
Yep.
Wow.
Niv-Mizzet Guild Pact. 44 out of 250. That's right. First time doing a collector's booster opening, and we get a serialized card.
We got the magic.
We've got to put that in a
nice little sleeve.
Yeah, we got to put that in a sleeve. Let everyone see again.
I have to say, this one. So if you open a lot of Ravnica Remastered, you think Serialized is nothing special. It's sort of just like opening every single case, 1 in 6 boxes. I think it's actually 1.2 or something. Someone did the math. But this one, from everybody else that opened hundreds and hundreds of boxes, it's more looking like 1 per 50 to 60.
Well, if you watch Rudy, love him or hate him, you've got to acknowledge him. If you watch Rudy from Alpha Investments, he's had a lot of videos about talking to stores and finding out their pull rates, and
he also himself pulled a lot of.
And his theory, which makes sense by what I've seen or heard, is that they really reduced the print run for Ravnica Remastered.
From Ravnica.
Yeah. They were worried in Ravnica Remastered it wasn't going to sell. They're going to have to dump it, that sort of thing. But if you reduce the print run, you don't reduce the number of serialized cards. So
and you go from 500 to 250. That's also.
So, yeah, that's why they think there's more. But I wonder how long it'll take until they get back to doing a one of one. How far are we away? I bet. The Marvel. I guarantee they're probably going to do something with the Infinity Stones, like each Infinity Stone.
Yeah, that would
maybe
be cool.
Like 1 of 10 or 1 of 20, something really low. Maybe not that low, but 1 of 100 for those. All right, so man, I feel like I should end the video now. We already got our serialized.
We got the serialized. We might as well stop on the.
Stop while we're ahead. So how much? You've been selling serialized cards, right? Like what's the, I think everyone is really, no one really knows what the price of serialized cards are going to be in the long run and how their price is going to trend. What have you seen?
It's weird. Ravnica Remastered actually, because there's so many, you have a good idea of how much it is worth. Between Hallelujah, TCG Players sales, as well as just eBay sales, as well as Westbook. There's a Facebook group called like Serialized Facebook. Usually 3 to 4 goes through there per day.
Really, 3 to 4? That's more than I would think.
3 to 4 posts.
Oh,
So
not 3 to 4
it
sales
doesn't mean it
necessarily.
gets sales.
Oh, okay.
3 to 4 posts about Serialized, and it's not always. So while we're in Murder the Karlov, I think people are still posting like Ravnica's serialized cards, right? As well as Brothers War ones, today. I think those are some of the ones I saw today.
So 3 or 4 posts to sell a day, you see? What about how many buys?
No one listens.
No one knows.
These days. You go to a sales group, no one's there buying. It's always sell posts. You find on Facebook, there's always sell posts way outnumbers buy posts.
That's, if you treat it like investment, like stocks, that's not a good sign.
And they must be selling, unless you would have put it on there. And the Ravnica ones, Ravnica Remastered has settled between, I'll say like 100 US. I'd rather use US for this run.
Yeah, probably.
About 100 US for the really bad ones, like Sword of the Farum.
Like unplayable cards.
None of them is unplayable, but just like really C tier.
Yeah.
C tier.
Maybe in a commander deck if you're having fun.
To like the middling ones like Quarter Calling and Deathstrike Shaman being 200 to 300. And the really good ones like Steam Vents at Cyclonic Rift going up to 600-700. And if you have a really good number, it can go up to 1 to 2K. It caps out at, as far as I know, like $2,000 to $3,000. Even for like a really well-numbered Cyclonic Rift. But that seems like a lot to pay for a Magic.
Well, I've paid more.
So you open the Invisible Ink.
Oh, is this an Invisible Ink?
Yeah, that's the first one you open. I think.
Oh, wow.
Invisible Ink.
How many people are going to open it and not realize? I guess they're not going through as quick as me.
Yeah, that's why they're invisible, right?
Oh, wow, this foiling looks really good, actually. I know it's popular to shit on Wizards and say everything they do is terrible, and they certainly make plenty of mistakes, but this foiling thing looks really nice. So let's see, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 28 deaths maybe? And we got a body here. Have you been following the Is that invisible ink too?
No.
Don't look at them next to each other. So it's like glossy if it's the invisible inked one. Have you been following the murder mystery, the clues?
I thought the story was spoiled within day one.
Was it?
Yeah.
I kind of wondered if that would happen, if people would spoil it real quick. Was this supposed to be here?
That one goes in the. That one's part of your initial borderless race slot.
I don't think people need to. Oh, here we go. That's fine. All right, last pack of box 2. Can we be the only people to ever open 2 serialized cards in one box?
It happens.
It happens?
It happens.
Speaking of serialized cards and their prices, I speculated. What got me back into collecting Magic, quite honestly, I know it's going to sound very basic, but was Lord of the Rings. And not because I'm necessarily like a huge Lord of the Rings nerd. I like it. You know, the movies are good. The books are good. I read the books as a kid, but
How many times?
only once. Definitely wasn't obsessed with them. But
I got through a quarter.
oh yeah,
Yeah, it was still like it used. I mean, first of all, when I read it, my English wasn't great. I was just starting to learn English.
for those that don't know, Joe is Chinese. English is his second language.
Yeah.
I don't have you on the camera right now. You're a faceless void. All right, box 3. We're going into it. They're written well, but it is a lot of walking and
A
talking.
lot of walking, a lot of thinking.
But there's a lot of really good lines in it. Anyways, though, it wasn't because I loved Lord of the Rings. I was a sucker for the gimmick, the One Ring. I didn't realistically think I was going to pull it, but I did think it was a brilliant marketing ploy. And also, the Soul Rings were cool. And I just think Lord of the Rings is such an iconic brand that I thought that no matter how highly they printed it, it's gonna forever be a collector's item and in demand. As long as Magic still exists. You know, if Magic died, no one would care. But if Magic still exists, then there are going to be new people coming into the game every year and going, there was a Lord of the Rings set, and wanting it. So I've got I know I'm not a store owner, so these are small numbers, but I think I have about 10 or 11 collector's boxes that I just bought. Gonna keep them, not open them.
Buy them before or after the One Ring?
About half before, half after.
Good. Because the price tank on
My total
is insane.
My total cost base is about around the 350 about the
350 US? Or?
350 US mark.
That's pretty good.
And
I think they've gone back up after the One Ring got old.
Recently, if anyone is if you've looked, they've spiked recently. I think they're getting close to 500 again. And there was actually an arbitrage play on Shinyu right now. You can find English collectors Lord of the Rings boxes that are selling for about 3,300 RMB, which would be 714, 21, 28. Under, around like 425 USD is what it would come out to. And so it's like getting close to, you can kind of have a little arbitrage. But what my thinking was, and with the prices going up, I think we're seeing a little bit of this, is people will always love Lord of the Rings, and as long and it being someone else's IP, they have to have a contract, and it's not something they can just reprint anytime. And so, I may be dumb, and it's with some extra money I have. It's not important money, but my plan is just to hold on to those for 20 years, and just until those boxes get lower and lower. There's some things I disagree with Rudy on, but one thing I do agree with him on, and I don't think you can argue, is that like the Gambler's Premium, you can't they don't reprint the boxes, and every day more and more boxes get opened, and there are less and less. The card supply is really big, but the box supply only goes down. And so They can always reprint the cards in there, but that box, saying this is the first time Lord of the Rings in Magic. I don't know. I think it has staying power price-wise. Again, this is all assuming that people still play Magic. If Magic dies and Wizard of the Coast dies, then all of this goes out the window and it could go all to zero. But I don't see that happening. I do think that Wizards is not making all the best decisions on how to attract new players.
Yeah.
The average price of getting in the hobby going up is not how you attract new players to come
Do you
in.
think it's going up?
I mean, the play booster argument makes sense to me. There's now the lowest entry point is play boosters.
Yep.
And that's much higher than those draft boosters were. I mean, not much higher, but a little bit.
What I mean is like, so a booster is more like for me, it feels boosters are not. Oh, there you go. You got another invisible ink.
Thank God Joe's here. Sorry, I'm going through these too quickly.
Yeah, so the concept of boosters for me has always been, you're gonna quote unquote nig, right? Every time. And it's just about how much extra you're paying to nig. And if you want cards, you don't open boosters. Boosters are more like, oh, you support a store. You're like, hey, I play here all the time. I'm about to leave. Open a booster, get some fun. Because there's not a lot of cards you can't buy for a box anymore, if that makes any sense. So on TCG Play, I think it's about 140 USD for a play booster box. And that is almost enough to just get a full set of cards from the set.
One of.
One of each.
Yeah.
Not counting commons or uncommons, obviously.
Well, and also, you kind of make a good point. Oh, got another.
Ooh, there we
How
go.
many?
We're running good.
What are the odds of getting these?
1.5 per box or so.
Okay. Well, we just opened 2 in a row. Are you sleeving those as well?
Yeah.
There's a couple others in that pile. Sorry.
The sets money is not like the sets. If you look at that, it's not that expensive. Not too many expensive cards outside of what's the 3 mana 2/2 that makes
mana
your
2/2.
stuff unblockable.
What color?
White. It's called a Rennick. Ren something Streetwise Lookout.
Well, thinking back to, back in the story of price, I guess it's not really about the price, because when I was a kid playing Magic, and I would go to the store, and let's put these aside so we can see how many we get and tell people. The foiling is good in this set, I think.
It's Japanese print.
We got Japanese. All right. When I was a kid, I never bought a box. I remember the first time I went to a Pro Tour qualifier, and how old was I? I had to be like 12 or 13, and the store owner was surprised that I was going to go. He was like, "Why are you going all the way to Dallas for a PTQ?" I'm like, "Well, I'm going to try to win." And he laughed and said, if you win that, you come back, I'll give you a free box. Spoiler, I didn't win, but that was a huge motivator for me. I was so wanting to win to get that box,
Show him off.
And also a whole box? You're kidding me. That's crazy, so much, right? I thought he must have been crazy to offer something like that. But now as an adult, a whole box isn't nothing, but it's not the same. And kids these days, are probably the same way. I built my collection pack by pack, not box by box. But what I'm just worried about on the future of the game with that is I had ways to play Magic competitively with a limited collection. I don't know. When we went to Friday Night Magic or the Saturday night tournaments at the game store, I remember playing legacy tournaments against, decks with Power 9 in them and stuff. But I could build like a mono red beatdown deck that could still compete, or use tech cards that were cheap against them. And I don't know. It doesn't seem like for young people that accessibility to playing in competitions is there as much anymore. There's such a high level barrier of entry of cost. That's why I love Limited so much, because all you got to do is have the entry fee and you're on an equal level with everybody.
Yeah, to that regard, I say probably people just like, I mean, every single, okay, back in your days, you had to build a booster by booster because internet was not, our days actually, we're about the same age.
Yeah. Internet was a new thing.
Internet was very, if you want to buy cards, it's tough, right? Like you have to go to your local store and they might not even have it. Actually, nowadays you can go to your local store and they probably don't have it. But do you know who always has it?
123 TCG. 123 TCG in Shanghai. Come check it out.
Internet. If you're in the States, TCG low, it's just the most convenient way and the cheapest way.
Oh yeah, I mean, okay, that was the end of box 3. Going to box 4. When I first started trying to get back into Magic in China, and I went to different, I just spent like a couple weeks on my days off, just going to different stores, seeing what it was about, and I was a little sad that the days of a case, like having a singles case, most of those stores had no singles available at all, and the sentiment was the same with all of them. They're like, why would I do that? I can just put them on Taobao, which for anyone from America, that's like the Amazon or the eBay of China. And yeah, you can't compete with online. The market that you can have, the amount of people that you can have access to, there's no incentive to kind of cultivate a local scene. And then don't even get me started on people the player base that is antagonistic to the local store, because the local store is so arrogant trying to make money as a business. I can't believe they charge money for me to buy boxes. Why don't you charge the same amount as TCG player? And just ridiculous idea of how the business works. It's tough. You add on to that Arena, MTGO, the local game store
You still need the LGSs to...
feels like an endangered species. Not dead yet, but it's...
You still need the LGSs to actually run the event. You need somewhere to play, right? The game... It's like online will never overtake, this aspect, playing offline.
Physically with others.
Physical interaction with other people is what humans are bred to do, right? They like interacting with each other.
Well, just wait till you get the Meta Vision Pro goggles and
VR.
Play Arena that way.
And then you can really talk shit to the other guy.
Overall, I don't know. I think that I think the truth is probably somewhere in the middle. The doomsayers that say Magic's gonna die within a year, that thinking that it's over soon, is probably wrong. I've been through these cycles before. Everyone thought the game was going to die after Homelands. Everyone thought the day was going to die after Mercadian Mask.
When I first got into the game in 2006, I think 2006, and they printed a 2-mana 3/3 called Watchwolf or Lone Wolf? I can't remember.
I when I recently went back to the States and found my old collection, I found a deck with watch wolves in them.
And people were like, wow, the power creep this is gonna kill Magic, right? Like, because you're just power creeping the shit out of the cards. And
For those that don't know, 1 green, 1 white, 3/3 vigilance.
Nah, nothing.
Oh, just 3/3.
Vanilla.
Yeah, 3/3 vanilla.
Yeah,
1 green, 1 white, 3/3 vanilla. That was too powerful.
Yeah, that was. Granted, it was one of the best creatures of that format.
I think it was in the
played
Worlds
Zoo.
or the Pro Tour Zoo.
It
Yeah.
won some GTs, won some. Did really well. Like it was a lightning helix, lightning helix off the top. That involved Watchwolf.
Yeah.
Craig Wesco won the whole thing off. Oh, he didn't win. Oh no, yeah, he came second, but he beat Oliver Royale because of Watchwolf attacking. So it was heavily played card. And then 7 years later, Journey to Nyx, they printed 2 mana 3/3 with 2 upsides, I believe. I think it had monstrosity and it could get indestructible through the monstrosity. It was I forgot what it's called. And that card outside of block saw very little play.
Wow.
It saw a little bit of constructive play in green-white aggro at the end of the season. But that deck, even though it came second at the Pro Tour, I'm still saying I was at the Pro Tour. I still said it was the worst deck just because the mana was so terrible. It had 4 mana confluence and 4 brushlands. And yeah, that's not a real mana base by 2013 standards.
I thought that I think that I forget, and I think older players of Magic, when we talk about it, we can forget just how different the game was before, and also, but how little the new generation kind of probably has a full understanding of how different it was. Like,
they don't appreciate having 20 playables in your draft.
Yeah. Like, literally playing like cards that you are embarrassed to cast in your draft deck, and and things like a 2/2 for 2 had to have a downside. Like, no, a 2/2 for 2, like that's Green's thing. Like,
2/2 for 2 is a beer was for a while, right? The baseline of limited playable was 2/2 for 2, 3/2 for 3, 3/2 flying for 4, and 5/4 for 5. Those ones are sort of like the baseline set. Nowadays you have 4 mana 4/4 with slight upside in common.
Yeah, it's out of control. I mean, I don't think the game's necessarily bad with the power creep. I'm not one of those people that thinks like power creep is ruining the game, but I will say my preference, I miss slower games. Like, I like control on control matchups. I like that combo is something you have to deal with and consider. And I would probably, if I was in charge with Wizards, would ruin the game and everyone would quit. But one thing I would like is like slowing the game down with things like bigger, just slowing the game down. Like, one thing I was thinking of is just like adding more toughness to creatures. I do think that game design wise, I understand why they've pushed the game to be faster. I mean, those games in early Magic were brutally long. Like, it was just creatures staring at each other. No one can attack. The game can't end. The creatures are so bad. The spells are so overpowered. It took forever to finish a game of Magic. So I understand you got to speed it up a little bit. But like, one thing, another probably unpopular opinion, I don't know, I never see anyone talk about it, so I assume everyone would hate this idea. But I kind of miss the core sets. Like, I know core sets are underpowered and not exciting. I get it. But I think they're a great introduction to Magic. I wanted to teach my wife how to play Magic, and like, I don't want to start her off on Murders at Karlov Manor, on Wilds of Eldraine, of Ixalan, and having to learn all this stuff. I miss a core set where It's just going to be French vanilla creatures and simple spells so that she can pick it up and learn. I recently were going back to the family for Lunar New Year, and I was looking for a gift for one of her cousins. I thought I'd get him some magic, like introductory magic product. And it was pretty hard to find a good product that you could expect a kid to just open up and be able to start playing right away. All the products to buy would require me to sit down, explain the rules, be very clear. And I see some people on the internet say, in these situations on Reddit posts, they say, just have them play Arena. Arena is a great tutorial. That's the way you start to play. And they're not wrong that the tutorial on Arena is probably a good way to introduce, but I want them to do paper magic. I want to have that experience of playing together. And I think core sets did a good job of doing that. Not every set should be treated like it has to be something that revolutionizes the format or has chase cards everybody's going to want to get or super complicated. I think core served a fun, good purpose for young new Magic.
We missed a special guest.
We missed a special guest. Field of the Dead. Isn't this banned?
In just about, I think it's banned on Modern and Pioneer. Yeah, just about all the two relevant formats.
And this is ridiculous too. I don't get it, Wizards. Why are you printing cards that are banned?
It's really popular in EDH.
Okay, popular in EDH, I get it, but why not then do it for an EDH exclusive product? How many times is someone going to open that, find out they can't play it, and be turned off to Magic forever?
I would say one thing about how Magic is going that I think is one of those figures everyone knows.
Oh, we got another. I think we already got her.
We already got that one.
Yeah, another Vanifar Evolved Enigma.
So they know the stats. They know what product is selling, what product isn't, and they know sort of what the player base is.
Certainly.
And by my estimate, at least in New Zealand or Australia, I would say out of every 100 players, 90 will be EDH players, and 10 will be some form of contractor players, where with some kind of overlap and limited. Because you can't really be a limited player, right? Like a guy who only plays limited. I don't think they exist. Because you say
I exist.
You're not. You play Modern.
I bought a Modern deck just to have tournaments play in, but honestly, that was probably a waste of money. I have not played that much with it. All right, we're down to the last 2 packs here. I think this is already a huge success. We've gotten a lot of the showcase foils. We got a Field of the Dead. We've got, and most importantly, of course, we got a serialized card. So I'm gonna call it. I can always open serialized cards. So if you want a serialized card, send me your collector's booster boxes and I will open them for you. All right, last pack. I think that the set is very cool. I like it. But I tend to look at things on the optimistic side. One internet rumor that I've read a lot about this set that I disagree with, and okay, so people will hate me because I'm unpopular opinion. But the conspiracy theories about this is about this should be a new Capenna set. Maybe, but I watched the stream with Mark Rosewater, and he mentioned they asked him directly about this, and he said that the setting for new Capenna was one that didn't have, there were 2 things wrong with it. One, it didn't have any law enforcement there. Like they wanted it didn't really have a history of law enforcement, that sort of thing, and thought Ravnica fit better. Also, I've seen complaints that they said this should be on a new plane, brand new plane. I thought Mark Rosewater made a great point on why they didn't go with that idea, and that was if you're going to do a murder mystery, you should care about who's being murdered. And a brand new plane with brand new characters, there's no investment in it. Now, I don't really care about the story of Magic. That's not why I like it. I like the competitive and the aspect of it and the strategy and the gameplay. But from a storytelling perspective, that completely makes sense to me. I totally get that. So, I don't know. Those were two examples of this set where I read internet rumors and people talking about how stupid Wizards is. And, like, people are entitled to their opinion. That's fine. I'm not saying, you can't be critical and you have your opinion. But at the same time, if you really care that much, do your research, do your homework. You can listen. Now, you can disagree with his decisions there, but people were blatantly making false accusations about why they chose it. And I guess you could just call him a liar. Everyone thinks he's a liar after the 30th anniversary thing. But I don't know. I'm not that way. I like to assume people are doing what, at least in their mind, is the right thing to do. That's usually the case. I don't hold to the theory of, like, there's a lot of evil people in this world. Evil does exist, but really, most people are trying to do what they think is the right thing to do. They may be misguided, they may make bad decisions, but they're trying to do what they think they should do. So, all right, to sum it up here, 4 collectors booster boxes opened up, and we've got Field of the Dead coming in here. We got 2 Vanifer Evolved Enigma, the special Invisible Ink. I think these Invisible Ink cards actually look really cool. Vein Ripper, Alquist Proft, and of course, the star of the show, Niv-Mizzet Guild Pact. 44 out of 250, open to serialized card. My first time ever doing it. Hope you enjoyed the content. Leave a like, subscribe, all that jazz. But most importantly, please leave a comment. Tell me if you agree what we're talking about, disagree, want to know more, and tell me what you like and want to see on the channel. Big thanks again to Joe and 123TCG for letting me open some of their inventory and show it on the YouTube channel. If you're in Shanghai, I'll put in the description a WeChat ID you can add and the address of the store. Come check it out, give them some love, and come to the tournaments. The pre-release didn't have a lot of people. We want more people. All right.
Yeah. Come on Saturdays. Friday, we had good turnout. Saturday, need more.
Yep. We want this to be a WPN store. And
we are a WPN store.
Okay. We want it to be a premier WPN store. Excuse me. And also, we want... I'll just say, from my personal experience, it's nice that this is, from my experience, the only store in China where you can get regular English play. The majority, it doesn't mean Chinese players don't come, and they play as well, and that's fine, and we all get along. But if you are intimidated by the idea of going to a store and you're the only foreigner there and you have to play against people who have all Chinese cards, this is actually a store where you will encounter more foreigners, and it's a very friendly atmosphere. They'll help you out. So check out 123TCG, and we'll see you next time.